All right, so Sleep Token. We are back to one of the most anticipated releases of recent times. Again, we're going to reiterate just a little bit. Um, some people like Sleep Token, some people do not. I do enjoy the band. And the last two singles that have been released off the album have been very, very good. So I was iffy about Emergence, but as I listened to it more, it definitely grew on me because I understood the intention of why it was written the way that it was. And it was unique on a first listen, which was definitely outside of what I was expecting. And I think by removing expectations when Caramel was released, it really provided me an entirely different experience. So, Emergence, I definitely had like a pre existing idea of what it may sound like in terms of comparing to their previous albums. And removing that pre existing thought definitely let me enjoy Caramel to the fullest extent. I feel like that song was written to the point where it's almost addictive. So, whatever songwriting methodology that Sleep Token uses definitely is very clear. Um, that song blew up even bigger than I expected it to. I think right now, when I looked at it, it was at like 4.1 million listens, and that's just on YouTube. So that's fairly impressive for just a couple of weeks, especially for a band that is in a scene of music, a genre of music that is not typically widely celebrated. So this song, just based on the visuals, based on some of the um I don't want to say hints because I guess hints doesn't really encapsulate it, but just looking at the actual artistic style because this has a black, I would assume it's a flamingo, as opposed to the previous, which was pink. I have a feeling that it's intending to have some type of death related, or not like actual death, but metaphoric death, or just being a song kind of similar to a grieving. So I very much look forward to this. I know that regardless of what style it may be, the composition is going to be beautiful because that's just a given. It's Sleep Token. I mean, at this point, I think that they are distinguishing themselves in a way that it is not repetitive, and it's also just very well composed. Like it's not like a garage style composition. It is a very well thought out. Clearly, this is a band that has a lot of music theory, a lot of experience when it comes to instruments, and they are capable of putting their money where their mouth is in saying that they are talented in a way that is indisputable. So you don't have to like the style of the band. You don't even have to like the band. But, give credit where it's due when you see that somebody is clearly capable of doing well. It's like Mariah Carey. I don't like Mariah Carey, but I can respect that she can sing. So it's kind of that mindset where you don't have to like something, but give respect where it's due because there are so many different bands available. And for one like this to be so distinct is very unique, especially in the era of computerized music, things that are not, um, human generated. So to be able to know that they are doing this of their own, and I mean, if anybody has seen the Drumeo with two, I mean, clearly he is a very proficient drummer. So beyond that, yeah, we're just gonna give it a go. I'm gonna attempt to see if captions, JK, it says unavailable. I was gonna say if it was available, but we're just gonna listen then.
Well, I've been waking up under blades, blue
This is
blossom
like
days of
the Euclid of the album, which I love that song, so I'm okay with that. I love the use of piano always. Like, piano is heaven to me. It's the one thing I wanted to learn, and I never got the chance to get that far into it. I did have a keyboard, and I learned a little bit. And the rhythm is pretty easy to follow up to this point. Trying to just look at the visuals as well just to see, because it looks very beautiful. I love the way he uses his voice. Like, it's so emotive. He has so much emotion. And very self-aware. And I like the slow integration of the drums, like just bolstering it up and it building up as the song is going further. Like it's following the same rhythm, but it's getting built up from behind, which is very nice. And that's cool. I love his voice. I cannot explain. I like that it got quiet again when it comes to instrumentals and it just let the piano take front and then just like right back into it. I'm curious how it's going to end. Well, I would assume that that's the ending because it's, you know, that high inflection on the end. The drums sound fantastic. Like, it's a very simple song when it comes to the sound, but the drums are just like purely, I don't know, just amplifies it. And then we just go back to a soft, quiet piano. I timed that perfectly. I did not expect to stop it so perfectly. Okay, so composition wise, I mean, it is okay. Let me preface this with there are definitely going to be people who do not like this song because it is soft. But realistically, I mean, when we look at just the composition of it, the way that it builds up, it gives quiet where quiet is due. I don't know how to word that in fancy musical, I've been educated in music ways, but from a listener standpoint, um, definitely his voice conveys a lot of emotion. I wouldn't say that it's to the degree of Caramel because that was a very highly emotive song, but this is a self aware song. So, we start simple, like beautiful, and let's be realistic here as well. So, lyrically, the enunciation is fantastic. You can hear almost every word of what is being said. There's not much that is muddled. Um, Definitely, it is very cleanly mixed. But beyond that, the one thing that I very much love about Vessel's vocals is the fact that the statements on their own, sung by anyone else, would sound very blah. So, what I'm saying is that his vocal capacity and the ability to variate his tone creates a sense of emotion that is not always capable of many artists. So, his words are simple, it could be a very basic sound. Like he sings it in a way that each word has its own distinct feeling to it. So, um let me just get a better example because these words in any other context would just not sound good, I guess. I don't know how far I have to go. Hold on. Yeah, okay. So, again, back to the point of it being very self-aware. Um the lyrics of this song I'll dig into in a minute, but just the way that it sounds when he sings this after this. And I mean, forgotten. He could have just said forgotten, but no, he threw that into it. But like this part specifically, lyrically,
Well, I know I should be touring. I know these chords are boring, but I can't always be killing the game.
like the structure breakup of how it was sang, um, clearly when these songs are written, they are written in a very poetic fashion. So it is intentionally rhyming. It is intentionally broken up at stanzas where it is more impactful because you can state this in any manner of ways. Um, for example, I'm trying to just think of a very simple example as to what I'm trying to get at. So, roses are red, violets are blue. Roses are red, violets are blue. I am me, you are you. Breaking that up in those simple structures is what makes it flow like a poem. Now, if I said roses are red, violets are blue, I am me, you are you, the way that that flows sounds completely different. And then when you take the way that he uses his emotion to further that, roses are red, violets are blue. I am me, and you are you. Very distinctly different in terms of how it conveys a message. When you say it rapidly or you say it without an emotive tone, it could be, not as impactful. Whereas every single sentence that is spoken in this song is saying in a way to be impactful. Now, lyrically, when I'm looking at, the lyricism of it, it's extremely self aware. So, like I had said in my previous review of Caramel, I don't think that this band ever intended to get as big as it did. Um, just from a perspective of how it seems, they clearly are not ones to want a lot of attention. Because if that was the case, with the amount of notoriety that they have now, I would imagine that somebody who is desperately seeking fame would actively pursue more avenues because interviews are easily available. Any single, like, magazine or you know YouTube channel or like famous rock related avenue would want an interview with Sleep Token right now. Like all of them, they want that first release to be the first, blah blah blah. So the opportunity is there for them to be as famous as they want to be. But what it seems like is that this album is conveying the emotions from afar because they don't want to have that high notoriety. I had said previously, I feel like this band was created to be a niche band where it was created to expect a certain subset of people to enjoy and to enjoy it solely for the music purposes. But because of the quality and high level of songwriting and capabilities, and also because other bands have, kind of bolstered their popularity by mentioning them, prime example, Will Ramos of Lorna Shore, it has grown their fan base to a level where they were not expecting. And now being at that top, there's always an expectation of having to do more and more and more. Everybody wants this band to be perfection forever. And that's not a realistic it's not a realistic approach to any band. Um Specifically in the lyrics, if I can get to it. I'm not sure how my timing is going to go, but I'm going to try. I mean, the chorus too. Let's see. I do like this too, till the tape runs out of me and then puts the tape. So we'll stop at that point. So, what if I wake up and I can't stand tall? What if the diamond days are all gone? Um, I'm trying to pick up what the rest of it was. I don't know it that well yet. So, who will I be when the empire falls? Wake up alone and I'll be forgotten. So, to have that self awareness at this point in the game, I think is crucial because they don't have the false expectation of riding the high. Prime example bands like Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, like these are bands that have a lot of notoriety. You say their name, pretty much anybody and everybody knows who they are. Whether or not you still enjoy their music is a whole different ballpark. But, Sleep Token doesn't seem like they are trying to chase that style of notoriety. Um, it seems more like it's accepting that at some point the band will lose interest or the fans will lose interest because it's no longer a novelty, or it's that people may feel that the writing is not to the degree that it was. Do I think that that's going to happen anytime soon? No, of course not. But what grows big sometimes does collapse. And to have that self awareness, to know that this is something to expect and something that may or may not occur, I think is very mature because it's that mental preparation of where will I go when things end? Because everything ends at some point, right? We would love for Sleep Token to be around forever, but realistically, there is going to be a point where either the band gets tired or the fans get tired, and that's okay. I just hope that as a band, they realize that even if it is a short impact or a long impact, there is still an impact. And it created music that a lot of people who may not listen to this style of music is able to listen to because of the incredible combination of different styles, different genres, different instruments. I think that it's sad in a way because something that I had discussed previously when Caramel came out with somebody that I am close with, we had that talk of how some people chase fame, and the song Caramel definitely showed that there was not that intention. And it was, said jokingly prior to the song being released, like, well, maybe this is Vessel's personal hell of having all of this fame that he didn't ever want. And when I just heard this, I was like, ah, hmm. So let's see if I can. I didn't mean to time it so perfectly, but when it all looks like heaven, but it feels like hell. So I think that on that note, this song, beautifully composed. The drumming at the end, completely unnecessary, but it built up the song in such a way that it is, you cannot state that it does not sound fan fucking tastic. And just to end on such a heavy, drum forward note, and then to go into the quiet, serene of the piano, it builds up that climax of this is the peak, this is the high point, and then this is the end. Like it's very well thought out, and I think that a lot of people who do not like the band, um, beyond just the different tastes of music, I think it's also the fact that there is a lack of appreciation for the composition because these are songs that are put together with a strong level of intent. They are not just blasted out to make money. They are not just put out to sound similar to a previous album. Each one is composed individually. And I love that of the three songs that have been given, they all have distinct personalities. They convey completely different emotions, they convey completely different storytelling. So, that in itself is what drives me to continue to listen to the band. And once the album is released, I am going to go full ham. I cannot wait because it brings emotion to me. Like it genuinely makes me feel. And that is very hard to do when it comes to music. So, definitely probably a little lengthier. Sorry if we got philosophical. But yeah, this was great. I love it. I don't care that it's soft. I think that it was done very well. And other than that, I got to go to work now. So, bye.